Alright, I think we're on. Let's find out. Yep. An error occurred. There we go. All right. Trying to think of what I need to do today. Good morning, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit disjointed this morning. Having a rough day with my anxiety, so definitely not thinking as clearly as I otherwise might. Trying to consider what it is that I want to do today, and kind of drawing a blank at the moment. Dave had suggested to me maybe working on a token for something like Roll20, which I think is an interesting idea. I was also wondering about maybe just working on an isometric dungeon, because we talked about doing that last week and didn't get to it because I was working on the Patreon map last week. So kind of thinking that that might be more where I want to work today. But yeah, I'm gonna get down to it, kind of grab some paper and just start somewhere, because that's the most important part of this equation. When you don't know where to start, just pick a spot and get going. So yeah, grab a pencil, let's get at it. Maybe what I can do is try to make the isometric dungeon for the dungeon that I was working on last week. Patrick had suggested that as an idea, and I think it's actually a pretty good one. I have the floor plan already designed for that. So having an isometric version of it might actually be really fun. So let me just grab that out. And we'll see if we can go about translating this into an isometric style. So the first thing that I want to pay attention to with this is figuring out what are my highest points and what are my lowest points. And that's a really good question. I think we're going to start up here. On the contrary, this may be a terrible thing to start with today. Who knows? Brain is not translating it the way I want it to. I can see that there's 4 of you on here. Hey, welcome. It's really cool that you came to stop in. For those of you joining late, my name is Shay. I am an amateur fantasy cartographer. I do this for fun. And trying to teach myself different cartography skills that I'm not necessarily fluent in. So things like isometric are stuff that I like to work on when I'm feeling confident enough, and wanting to kind of play with that a little bit today. So just trying to figure out the best way to map this out. The map that I'm working from is a necromancer's compound that I designed for players of mine in a campaign that I'm running. And so Patrick had suggested last week that I give it a shot at turning it into an isometric dungeon. And I think it's a great idea. I just don't know that I necessarily have the skill to pull it off right now. So we're going to find out, because why not? Feel free to pop into the chat and say hi. Let me know who you are or where you're from. I like to know who I get to hang out with on Thursdays. It's a good time for me. Oh, shit. I keep getting some error messages, you guys. Can somebody pop up in the chat and let me know if you're experiencing any broadcasting issues? Because I would like to know that if at all possible.